I'm using Clinic Session Practice Paper 2 as an example to show you how we can prepare for the introduction session and the methodology session of a report. First, take a look at the Practice Paper 2. You work in this company called A&F Consulting Hong Kong Limited. It is a company which provides business consultation services for local and overseas clients. You have received a foreign email from the HR manager. So your manager would like you to write a report on English training course for Caracal staff. So look at the email. Andy, to ensure effective communication between our frontline Caracal staff and overseas clients. So why overseas clients? Because your company provides consultation service for local and also overseas clients. Our company would like to provide training for them. Them means the frontline Caracal staff. So our company would like to provide training for them to improve their English writing and speaking skills. So that's why I would like you to help to select a suitable course which fits our requirements. So there are 4 requirements. So number 1 is the course content. So the course content should be about speaking and writing skills. Course fee per head is equal or less than $4,500. Activities. Here your boss doesn't mention specifically what activities they are looking for, but you need to use your common sense to think about what type of activities should be suitable for the Caracal staff in your company. Last requirement is about learning resources, so your boss prefer free materials. So what is the methodology? So the source of information is the websites. The websites of the course providers. Course providers, that is Course A and Course B. So course provider means the company A and company B. Another source is the official quotations from the course providers. Look at the finding sessions. So for Course A, course content, basic telephoning, business emails. For B, the course content is about workplace meetings, advanced business writing. For course fee, $4,400 per head, and course fee of A is $4,700. Do you see an arrow here? When you see an arrow pointing to this aspect, like course A, the arrow is pointing to course fee. And for course B, the arrow is pointing to learning resources. It means that this area, this aspect, course fee, doesn't meet the requirement of your boss. So that's why do you see some keywords in the box here? Here say too high, the course fee is too high. So do you have any suggestions? So for this part, we will keep this part in the recommendation section. Okay, shall we go ahead? Activities. Activities for A is about tutorials and lectures, and also language lab sessions. But for B, activities are only about tutorials and lectures. For learning resources, free tailor-made course books. And for the learning resources of course A, published textbooks at $150 each. So you see the arrow pointing to this aspect. That means this aspect cannot meet the requirement of your supervisor. Okay, now let's go to page 1. Let's see what we can write in the introduction section. So this paragraph is extract from a 1-page supplementary notes to you called report structure. Okay, I believe everyone should have got this piece of paper called notes on report structure. So I just copy and paste here, enlarge the font size to make it easier for you to follow. Alright, now it is suggested that we The aim of the report is to identify a suitable which fits our requirements and to make recommendations for further actions. Alright, now for the introduction, what do we need to do? What do we need to do is to read the email of your boss. So your boss tells you because the company wants to make sure that the communication between the frontline staff and the overseas clients is good enough. That's why your company would like to provide training for them. So that's why you see I highlight the blue part here and I highlight this part in red. That is to tell you to ensure effective communication for this part of the sentence. You should put it here because we want to ensure effective communication. It is suggested that we provide training for them to improve their skills. And how about the aim of the report? The aim of this report is to identify, to find out a suitable English training course which fits the requirement and to make recommendation for further actions. Okay, so for the introduction is rather straightforward. Now we can go to the methodology section. For the methodology section, remember the structure of the sentence in the methodology section is source of information. You should put it in the front. And then followed by was or were, and then the verb in PP. So we call it the past tense, and the passive voice. Was, were, PP. This is the past tense and the passive voice. Remember, in the methodology section, we will never use I, we research something, we read something, we study something, we request something. We will never use we or I in the methodology section because readers will be interested in knowing what was done instead of who did the action. So look at this. Two possible choices, namely A and B, were shortlisted. So you need to fill in the full name of A and the full name of B here. Next part, the was or were, and this part is to put the verb in PP form. And for this part, that is to put the source of information. So what does it mean by the source of information? You look at this one, I extracted from the practice paper. Methodology, course contents, activities, learning resources, websites of course providers, official quotations from course providers. So obviously, that is the source of information. That is the place where you obtain the information. For course fee, where did you get this information? Oh, you got this piece of information from the official quotations from the course providers. So that's why this and this are the source. So you will put it here, the websites of the course providers were, you will need to put a PP here. So for websites, we can use the verb researched. And if you like to use the word studied or visit is also alright. So the sentence would be the websites of the two course providers were researched to find out, what kind of information. That is the information you find out. So to find out the information about and Next sentence, moreover, the official quotations from the course providers were, what is the verb? Were request, or you can say were obtained. To know more about the course fee. Okay, so do you see I put it in blue I highlight the words in blue and it will be easier for you to follow. I've also prepared a list for you. So these are the source of information we usually use when we need to look for information for writing a report. So usually we refer to these kind of information, these kind of sources. So we would study a journal. So we would say a journal was studied, a report was studied, a book, a magazine. So you can also put the name of the journal. A journal called ABC, okay, was studied. A website called ABC website or Apple Daily. A website called HSBC Apple Daily, a name, put the name here, was researched. You can also use visit. Interviews, questionnaires, survey, research site visits were conducted. Or were carried out. Okay, it depends on the subject. If the subject is singular, so you need to use was. If the subject is like questionnaires, interviews, so we need to use the plural one, were. The quotations from the two companies or two providers were obtained, were requested. Email inquiries were made. Alright, so for the methodology session, this is the most important thing. Put the source of information at the beginning of the sentence and followed by was or were and then the PP form of the verb. In next video, I will be talking about findings section, which is the most important section of the report.